The night before school reopened, Leena found her daughter standing in front of the mirror. The little girl was pulling at a uniform that no longer fit. The sleeves were too short, the collar was torn, one button was missing, and still she smiled. "It's okay, Amma," she said softly. "I can wear it like this." That sentence hurt Leena more than crying would have, because when a child stops asking, it does not always mean they are strong. Sometimes it means they already know there is no money. Outside, rain tapped against the roof like tired fingers. It had been raining for 4 days. And for 4 days, Leena's husband, Arun, had not found work at the construction site. No work meant no daily wage. No daily wage meant no new uniforms. No new uniforms meant tomorrow morning would arrive with clean notebooks, nervous children, and clothes that told the classroom too much. Arun sat near the doorway, looking at his wet sandals. "I'll try again tomorrow," he said. "Maybe the rain will stop." Leena nodded. She did not blame him. He did not blame her. That was not how their house worked. In their house, love did not shout. It checked the rice tin, counted coins twice, looked at school bags quietly, and pretended not to worry in front of the children. Then Leena looked at the corner of the room. Under an old cloth sat her mother's sewing machine. Heavy, black, scratched, stubborn. The kind of machine that looked less like a tool and more like an old relative with strong opinions. Every time it started, the neighbors knew 2 things. 1, someone's clothes were being repaired. And 2, the machine was about to complain louder than the person using it. Leena pulled the cloth away. The wheel was stiff. The needle was bent. The pedal made a sound like it had been personally offended. Arun looked at it. Will it still work? Leena placed her hand on the wheel and pushed. It moved half an inch, then stuck. She pushed again. This time, it turned. Leena looked at the machine for a long moment. Then she said, "It still moves." That night, after the children slept, Leena lit a small lamp and placed her daughter's uniform on the table. The fabric was thin at the elbows. The collar had frayed. The sleeve was almost torn through. She found an old white shirt Arun no longer wore, cut a clean piece from the back, and used it to patch the sleeve. The machine jammed after 6 stitches, then after 4, then after 2. At one point, the thread snapped so many times, Leena stared at it and whispered, "Are you sewing clothes or testing my character?" Arun almost laughed, but then he saw her eyes, so instead he sat beside her and held the lamp steady. No big speech, no dramatic promise, just one tired man holding light for one tired woman. By morning, the uniform was not perfect, but it was clean, strong, wearable. And when her daughter put it on, she stood a little taller. At the school gate, another mother noticed the patch. "Leena," she said, touching the sleeve, "did you repair this?" Leena almost said, "Just a little." Poor people often make their own skill sound smaller than it is, but this time she stopped herself. "Yes," she said. The woman opened a plastic bag. Inside was a boy's uniform shirt with a torn pocket and a split seam. "Can you fix this too? I can pay a little, not much." Leena felt fear rise in her chest. The machine was old. The stitch might go crooked. The needle might break. But rice was low. Thread was low. And fear had never bought school shoes. So Leena said, "Bring it tonight." That evening, she worked on the boy's shirt. For the first 10 minutes, everything went well. Then the machine jammed. The stitch pulled sideways. The pocket twisted. Leena stared at the shirt, and shame crawled up her throat. The next morning, when the mother came back, Leena did not hide the mistake. She placed the shirt on the table. "I'm not happy with this," she said. "Give me one more night. If it is not right tomorrow, you do not pay." The woman looked surprised. Honesty is rare enough that people sometimes need a moment to recognize it. Then she nodded. That night, Leena cleaned the machine properly. Aaron found a small screwdriver. Together, they opened the side plate and removed dust from places dust had clearly been living rent-free for years. Leena straightened the needle as best she could, changed the thread, tested the pedal, then tried again, slowly, carefully, one line at a time. By midnight, the pocket sat straight. The seam held firm. The shirt looked like a school shirt again, not a small white tragedy. The next morning, the mother returned. She turned the shirt over in her hands. Then she smiled. "This is good work." She paid Leena. Not much, just a few notes and coins. But when Leena placed that money on the table, it sounded different. It was not charity. It was not borrowed. It was not Lou. It was not luck. It was proof. With that money, she bought rice, thread, and 3 new needles. Not a miracle, but a beginning. By the end of the week, 2 more mothers came, then 5. Uniform sleeves, loose buttons, torn pockets, school bag straps. One boy brought a pair of shorts so damaged even the sewing machine seemed to pause and judge him. Leena repaired them anyway. Aaron painted a small board and hung it near the door. Uniform repairs, fair price. The words were slightly crooked, but the work was not. Soon, people came not because Leena was the cheapest. They came because she was careful. She folded every uniform neatly. She told people honestly when fabric was too weak. She did not promise what she could not do. And when she made a mistake, she fixed it. One afternoon, a shop owner came with a bundle of uniforms. "I can give you regular work," he said, "but the price must be low, very low." Leena looked at the bundle, then at the machine, then at the small notebook where she had started writing costs. Thread, needles, lamp oil, time, rice. She needed the work, but she had learned something important. Work that does not feed you is not opportunity. It is just exhaustion wearing a nice shirt. She looked at the shop owner and said, "I need the work, but I cannot feed my children with respect alone." The man frowned. Leena's hands shook under the table, but her voice stayed steady. "This is my fair price." For a moment, there was only rain outside and the old machine waiting in the corner. Then the shop owner sighed. "Fine, but the stitching must be good." Leena nodded. "It will be." Months later, the machine still made noise. The pedal still complained. The wheel still needed a firm hand. But now, that sound did not feel like failure. It sounded like rice in the pot, school uniforms drying on the line, children leaving the house clean, a small notebook with real numbers, and a woman who had stopped apologizing for useful work. One evening, a young mother came to Leena's door holding a torn uniform and a tired child by the hand. "I don't have much money," the woman said. Leena looked at the uniform, then at the child, then at the old sewing machine. She smiled. "Sit," she said. "We start with what still works." Because sometimes life does not hand you a new beginning. Sometimes it gives you one broken thing, one old skill, one long night, one chance to be useful. And if you treat that small thing with respect, it can become the first stitch in a life you thought had already torn apart. It was not borrowed.